Thank you for joining us for God's Word. We are still in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, and the Apostle Paul is now talking more about the stuff that happened in the wilderness. That's examples for us living here in the New Testament times. 1 Corinthians 10, starting with verse 6. He says, "Now these things happened as examples for us, so that we would not crave evil things as they craved. Nothing in particular evil, except that God had provided them manna and they were complaining about it. And they said, we miss all of the stuff that we used to have back in Egypt, especially the meat. And so God said, okay, I'm going to give you quail, and I'm going to give you so many quail, you're going to get sick of them. Don't be idolaters as some of them were, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and stood up to play. That was when they were waiting on Moses to come down from the mountain, and they said, we don't know what's happened to him. Go make us gods. And they melted down their gold and made golden calves, and then it says they rose up to play. So what they did was they had basically a pagan festival with a whole lot of orgies and stuff, all centered around worshiping those golden calves. So he said, don't be a griper for the ones that wanted the meat, and don't be an idolater for the ones who rose up to play. Don't act immorally as some of them did, and 23,000 fell in one day. What that was when the Moabites were afraid of the Israelites. They're on their way to the promised land, and they've already defeated 2 kings. And the king of Moab is afraid, and he gets the prophet Balaam and says, curse the Israelites for me. And Balaam said, I can't do anything except what God tells me to do. And Balaam wanted to get money from the king of Moab and curse the Israelites, but God kept giving him blessings to give to the Israelites instead. And so they basically gave up. But then you get in the book of Deuteronomy, and it says a little more about Balaam. It says that he told the king of Moab, if you will just get the Moabite women to wink at the Israelite men, and to tell them what great guys they are, and tell them, oh, every woman ought to have a man like you, that they're going to link up with your women, and they're going to start worshiping your gods, and God will curse them. And that's exactly what happened. Listen to Numbers 25. While Israel remained at Shittim, the people began to play the harlot with the daughters of Moab, for they invited the people to the sacrifices of their gods, and the people ate and bowed down to their gods. And God killed 23,000 of them. So, examples to learn. Be content with what you have. Avoid idolatry. For a 21st century believer, idolatry is mostly it's greed. But then also when you take things like astrology and try to mix that with Christianity, or if you take something like karma and try to mix that with Christianity, that's idolatry too. Basically, anything that you trust instead of trusting in God, it's idolatry. Okay. And then for crying out loud, behave yourself sexually. Have a great day.